Hey guys, it's Monica at Academic Phoenix Plus, and welcome to the second part of this tutorial where we are going to recreate this. So far what we've done in the last tutorial was find a rig, clean it up a little bit, assign a shader, animate it, and now we're ready to try to create something similar, which is a flock animation. So I'm going to be using end particles. So you can use mesh if you like, but I am going to be using end particles because I know every single Maya has it, and therefore this can apply to multiple Mayas instead of just the most current ones. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we need is what's called snapshots, and I'm going to go under animation, and under visualize there's something called create animation snapshot, and let's go to the options. We're going to use time slider. Time slider means that it's going to go all the way to the end, which is around 28 frames. So we could potentially do 27. So it doesn't have that tiny little pause, and it's just continuous. There you go. Looks cool. All right, time slider and snapshot. So what it's going to do is that we're going to give it a second. It's going to create a piece of there it goes. It looks crazy, but what it did is that it created a geometry for every single frame. So let me go to my outliner. It's Windows Outliner, and you'll see a group called Snapshot. And inside here, you're going to see transform 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. And I'm going to choose here, which is a select. And you'll notice that this one is the bird without the rig, all on its own. And if I click on this one, it's another snapshot. So basically, this is a clone of every single animation that we have on this particular bird that we made, which is exactly what we need for our particles. So let's hide the original because we have what we need. And we also need to assign our material to this little guy. So let's right click on our geometry, existing material, and it's just an AI standard surface. And yes, I just want to see what it looks like when I render it. There you go, abstract art. Amazing. Okay. Second thing I need to do is make sure that this pivot is centered, and I'm going to bring this down and just go ahead and delete the history and freeze the transformations. And file save as, because here comes the particles. Okay, now that we've saved, what we're going to do is go under FX. Under end particles, there is something called the particle tool, and I'm going to go to the options. I'm going to use the right text field, and I'm going to say, you got to be careful because this is pretty high poly and it's got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to say particle spacing of 2, and I'm going to leave this at default. I don't need that many birds. We'll see how many particles we get. So I'm going to click here and then press enter. And now I have particles. Not too many, which is fine because I'm going to scale it up too. I got to be careful. If I have too many particles, it will crash. So if I press play, nothing's going to happen. Nothing really happens to my particles, even though it does have a nucleus. And let's give ourselves a little bit more time here. 250 frames should be good. And the next thing we want to do is kind of make sure that it moves around a little bit. So I'm going to go to Newton, or actually let's go to Turbulence, and make sure my turbulence is up here in my mesh. Press play. And okay, so gravity's taking hold. Let me go to, but my turbulence isn't, so let me just delete that turbulence really fast. Let me go to my nucleus. I'm going to change the gravity to 0. I'm going to grab my particles, and let's go ahead and try turbulence. Press play and see what I get. So you can see that the particles are slightly moving around, not very much, because my particles isn't, my turbulence isn't very strong, but let's crank that up to 80 and then we'll see what we get here. There we go. So now we're getting particles kind of moving around. I'm going to crank it up even higher, and I'm going to increase my attenuation. If you click on the letter T on your keyboard, you're going to see attenuation, which means how strong do you want this to affect the particles as they get further away. The smaller the attenuation, or the greater the attenuation, the closer the particles will react to it. And as it gets further away, it won't have that much of a strength. So I want the magnitude of the turbulence field to go further. So therefore, I changed my attenuation to a smaller value. And you can see that it still affects it even as we go further away. I may be a little strong, but let's see what happens. I feel like I need to scale down these guys a little bit. So let's go ahead and scale them down. Let's hope I don't break anything. Again, I'm going to delete the history. freeze the transformations. And we are ready to go. Let's select our objects. And I think it does matter how you select it. So make sure you select 1 all the way down to 27. Select your particles. And let's go to End Particles Instancer. And then we can go to the options. What's important here is that you'll notice that we don't want our particle system here. So I am going to remove that particular item. And the only thing we really want, and that's why I accidentally selected it. We just wanted to reference this part right here. Other things we need to change is our cycle. We want it to be sequential. And frames just means exactly what it means, frames. And then if we keep going down, there is something called cycle start object. If we want to change this to particle ID, it just means that the animation is going to start differently on every single one of them instead of starting all at the same time. If you wanted that look like everything is moving at the same time, like some sort of wrinkling time craziness, then that's the way you want to go. But if you want it to start randomly, like you don't start the animation at the same time, then this is why you need particle ID. I'm going to create, and there we go. Let's see what happens. There they are. Pretty crazy, and it's working. All right, it's working like a charm. Very cool. Look at them go. Now, of course, they're all facing the same direction, and they're flying in all different directions, so let's fix that as well. So let's go in here and actually hide this snap group. Oops, Control H. There we go. And let's go ahead and grab the end particle, and we're going to go to the instancer geometry place. I'm going to scroll down. So again, if you wanted to change anything in the attributes, you can. Instead of going to the options, you can always change here. So for example, if I go to none, now they're all going to flap at the same time, right? Which is kind of creepy. But if you choose particle ID, you get randomized animation. All right, so let's go to aim direction. We're going to go to velocity. And let's see where they do now. So now you're going to notice that they're kind of working, but they're kind of flying sideways. So we need to go back into our snapshot here. So Shift H. And we actually need to get these guys to face the correct way. So what I'm going to do is rotate them and then freeze the transformations. Let's see what happens there. Did I rotate them the right way? Yep. So you can see that now they're facing the direction that they are heading towards. So this will look really good if we're, for example, let me give myself more time, distant and far away. And that was a quick version of how to create a flock of birds or a flock of cranes using particles. So I hope that was really helpful. The next part is going to be to create the actual environment itself and the water. So, and then eventually we're going to start adding everything together. So let me know if you guys have any questions by leaving a comment below. And of course, please check out academicphoenixplus.com. That is my site where you can find free downloads and so much more. All right, guys, I will see you next time.